Hi, my name is Vicente Herrera, and I'm gonna present my evidence number 3. Globalization. Globalization is a process of interaction and integration among the people, comparing companies and governments of different nations, and process driven by international trade and investment and idea by informational technology. This process has effects on the environment, on culture, on political systems, on economic development and prosperity, and on cultural and human physical well-being in society around the world. Globalization is not new. For thousands of years, people and later corporations have been buying from and selling to each other in lands at great distances, such as through the Farm Skill Road across Central Asia that connected China and Europe during the Middle Ages. This current wave of globalization has been driven by politics that have opened economic domestic and international. In the years since the Second World War, and especially during the past 2 decades, many governments have adopted free market economic system, vastly increasing their own productivity potential and creating myriad new opportunities for international trade and investments. Globalization affects in a positive way because it helps develop countries and help them trade and be more communicative with the world. This benefits both the well-developed countries and the not so well-developed countries because they will help each other and make a world more communicated with all the people that lives in it. The trade is a basic economic concept involving the buying and selling of goods and services, with compensations paid by a buyer to a seller, or the exchange of goods or services between the parties. The most common medium of exchange for these transactions is money, but trade may also be executed with exchanges of goods or services between both parties, referring to as a barter or payment with virtual currency. Today, the most popular way to pay on the internet are the Bitcoin. In financial markets, trading refers to the buying and selling of securities. The World Trade Organization, or the WTO, is the only global international organization dealing with the rules of trade between nations. At its heart, there are two: the WTO, or the World Trade Organization's agreements negotiated and signed by the bulk of the world's trading nations and ratified in their parliaments. The goal is to help producers of goods and services, exporters, and importers conduct their businesses. This organization is important because it modifies and creates the rules the international market for all the countries, and it can be of great use to some countries that they make products for the rest of the world. The digital revolution. The digital revolution started during the 80s and it's ongoing. The digital revolution also marks the beginning of the informational era. The digital revolution refers to the advance of technology from analog, electronic, and mechanical devices to the digital technology available today. The development and advance of the digital technologies started with the fundamental idea of the Internet. The introduction of the intellectual technology also changed the way humans communicate, now via computers and cell phones and the Internet. This revolution led the way to the information age. The advantages and disadvantages of the digital revolution are that thanks to the modern technologies we can be communicated with all the world and have all the information that we want in the palm of our hand. And the disadvantages are that we are always in new threats that can put us in danger, our social and real life. Terrorism. Terrorism usually involves different characteristics, but the purpose stands the same: create a state of terror in the mind of the general public. It can be political, religious, nationalist, separatist, state terrorism, etc. Yet, a religious one usually prevails. Thanks to the development of new technologies, terrorism has been increasing because these groups can have more contact with other types of people and can get weapons and other stuff from the internet. Also, they are in a disadvantages because now with the new technologies, the governments can identify these groups with satellites and spy equipment. With this, they can help save innocent people's lives. Thank you for your attention, and here are the references for the presentation.